Hey Miraculous fans, Crystal here, and today I'm going to be talking about the new Season 6 designs and animation change. Now this was quite a bit of a hot topic when Season 6 first came along, and still kind of is, because you still see people commenting on and giving their opinions on the new designs. But first I need to establish that there are two basically different topics involved in this video that a lot of people get mixed up and conflate them into one, and that is the difference between animation style and character designs. It's understandable to get the two mixed up since they both changed at the same time. Season 6 had a new animation studio, and at the same time pretty much all the characters got a new design. But it's kind of annoying when people get them mixed up, like when they say they hate the new animation, but what they actually hate are the new character designs, which is fair. Hence why I'll be talking about the two a bit separately here. I'm going to give my thoughts on the animation change, and then I'm going to go over each main character and their updated designs and give my own thoughts on them, because everybody has their own opinions on those. But let's just get right into it. So the animation itself, a lot of people hate it. They're like, just give us back the old like character models and stuff. Okay, for one thing, they're not going to do that no matter how much you ask, because they're just no longer with that studio or something. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I've seen people say they might not even still have like the right assets, they'd have to create it from scratch. I'm not sure about that. But regardless of whether they'll bring it back or not, they won't. Basically, I've never understood why people are hating on the change that much. When I first saw it, I didn't hate it because I thought it was worse. I felt a bit off at first just because it's a big change. But honestly, the new animation is a lot smoother and less stiff. And also, I've mentioned this in my reviews for the Season 6 episodes that are currently out, but I kept pointing this out, that it is more detailed. There were times, almost maybe half of the episodes I reviewed where I was like, hey guys, look at this close-up shot I noticed, look at the detail. And it is more detailed and just smoother and just honestly overall better. Like, okay, you don't have to agree with that. When a word like better, that is more of an opinion than a fact, but I'm saying it. I say it's just overall better. And I think the reason a lot of people didn't like it is honestly just because they're blinded by nostalgia. Now, again, as I said before, some people confuse animation style with character designs. I think it's more understandable to say you don't like the new character designs because you think that look might not suit them or something. But the animation, then I'm sorry, you're really just blinded by nostalgia, because that's like saying you'd rather look at, say, Pokemon Red and Blue when you could have Fire Red and Leaf Green. In terms of graphics, I mean, because I'm sure there are reasons to play Red and Blue still, but I'm saying in terms of graphics, why would you want to play a tiny, like, 8-bit, I don't know if 8-bit's the right word, but those graphics when there's one that's just literally more advanced. Now, you might not agree with this, you might not agree that the animation is better, but my perspective is that the Season 6 animation is just smoother and better, so I find it odd that you'd say you'd rather look at the older animation. If you say I'd rather watch Season 5 because of some other reason like the plot or something, then yeah. But if you're saying it about the animation, then I don't really get it, because it's just better, I think. And it's okay if you don't like change and you're used to the old look, but at least admit that and say it's the familiarity or the nostalgia reasons for not liking the new stuff, and don't just outright say that it is worse animation, because come on, it's really not. Again, you can disagree with anything I say, even if my tone sounds like I'm framing it as a fact. I get like that sometimes when I think it's so obvious to me, like, come on, it's just better, but you can still disagree. But moving on, I'm gonna go over the new character designs. But starting off, one thing in general that I love is for a lot of these characters, they're miraculous. The way they have it in camouflage mode is so much better. Like, it's a lot more well hidden, but we can still tell that's what it is. Some of them you can hardly tell. Like, if we didn't know that they were wearing a miraculous and we didn't know to look for it, and you were a stranger in their world, you would not guess that it's anything more than a normal, like, bracelet or whatever it is. But the other interesting thing that I'm going to mention for a lot of these characters is that overall it just feels like they're expressing themselves more, which I just love. With a lot of these new designs, it really feels like they're discovering who they are, and they've come into their own, and that's why they've had a a bit of a wardrobe change, I guess. Bit of a makeover, and I like it. One interesting thing is that for a lot of us, the first look at a lot of these designs was in the opening credits, which was, I believe, leaked before the actual episodes, which was tricky because some of those pictures in the credits were not the best pictures. So I've seen a lot of people who hated a character's new design at that point, but then it grew on them later, and that might have been because the picture in the credits was just a bad picture, including one in particular that I'll mention when I get to it. But let's get into this list. Obviously, first we have Marinette. So first, looking at her on screen, there's it's not too different. It still feels like something she'd wear, and I'm happy enough with it. It just, like most of them, it was a little jarring when we first saw it. It basically has the same essence. The only thing I'd nitpick is I don't really like the shorts. I feel like she looked better with the pants. And I never liked when girls wear like shorts with tights underneath. Like, at that point, just wear pants. But that's just me being weird. Overall, it basically has the same essence. They didn't change her too much, and so I don't have as much to say. I'm happy enough with it. It does feel like she is one that's expressing herself more, particularly with the jacket, because you can tell it's her own design. It has a bit of embroidery with an M on it, so you can guess that she probably designed some of this stuff herself. So I'm pretty happy with it overall. I don't mind looking at it. But also, then we have her as Ladybug. Now, there's not too much change, which is good. Less is more. It's like when people say, like, when people have reviewed all of the superhero outfits, a lot of them some of them have said that Ladybug's is the worst or the most boring. I think it's iconic because it's simple and it's Ladybug. You don't want it too crazy detailed. And as for this change, again, you don't want to change too much. Simple is, less is more, and it works. There were some changes, like these black sections, but I don't mind it. One interesting thing is the neckline changed a bit, which I believe is reflective of certain tops in Chinese culture. It is worth noting that we already had a neckline like that in season 4 when she sort of gained a new suit temporarily when she made it so that when she uses Lucky Charm, it changes into this updated suit, and then it goes back to normal when she says Miraculous Ladybug. And that had that kind of neckline as well as a black portion. So it is worth noting that that neckline isn't new, it just now permanently matches that altered suit that she sometimes had. The other interesting thing people have noticed is the red in her hair, which some people have wondered if it was inspired by Shadybug, which I'm all for that. You know, it was, even though it doesn't affect the overall story, like you could skip the Shadybug special and not be confused when watching the rest. I liked that episode, and I think, you know, meeting Shadybug did kind of impact her, so that would be cool if that was the reasoning. Moving on, we have Adrien, the one who barely changed. A lot of people have been making so many jokes about him. One good thing about him not really changing is that his comparison pictures are a good way to show the difference between design change and animation style change, because you can look at his pictures and just say that is just a new animation style because it is basically the same design. But anyway, yeah, he did not change, and a lot of people are wondering, why is Adrien, one of the supposed 2 protagonists, the one character who didn't get a new outfit? Well, I've actually seen people say that there's a plot reason for that, which is that Adrien is still finding himself. We see that in episodes like Climactic Queen when he's trying to find his passion and figure out who he is. He probably always just wore the clothes that his father bought for him and didn't give it a second thought. And he still is wearing those clothes, even though his father's gone. It was not going to be an instantaneous shift. And I like that. I like that he still kept the same basic look for now, and that after a bit more character development, maybe he'll update it. Maybe between season 6 and 7 we'll get that new design. I don't know. So I don't mind that he didn't really change. As for Cat Noir, he also looks pretty similar, which, again, you don't want to change one of the 2 main superheroes of the show too much. Otherwise, there would always be people who don't like it. It's simple, it's iconic. You don't want to change it too much. One thing I noticed that I don't think was there before is that there is a subtle design on the back of his top, which, again, I feel like that could have been inspired by Claw Noir because he had something like that. So, again, maybe meeting Claw Noir impacted him a bit for that to be added. Moving on, we have Alya, who is a bit hit or miss for some people. Some people don't like her haircut. At first, I thought it looked a bit off, but it kind of grew on me. And I think it kind of suits her, so I'm fine with it. Her clothes didn't change too much, and I'm fine with that. It's mainly just the haircut that came along. The rest is more just animation style things. The other interesting thing is, as I mentioned, the Miraculous in camouflage mode looks a lot more discreet. It doesn't just fade to white. It is a different shape. It doesn't even look like the Fox Miraculous. It looks like she's just wearing a necklace, which is great because, like, we know what it is, but all the other characters, they don't know, and they shouldn't know. They should not be able to spot it. As for Rena Rouge, she basically didn't change, which again, I don't mind that. I do like the detail that although Alya cut her hair, and some people might think it would have made sense to give Rena Rouge the haircut too. I like that she retained that long ponytail. It still suits her, and it gives us evidence that a miraculous transformation can indeed grow hair. Although I think we'd already seen that in other characters, like Lady Noir, Lady Noir or Bug Noir with that long braid. Her hair's not long enough for that normally. But anyway, yes, I like the look. It's basically the same-ish, just smoother and more polished. And the placement of her necklace changed a bit, but that's barely anything to note. One other thing is that the weird thick eyebrows on the mask are gone. There is still eyebrows, which is also weird because, like, they should be under the mask, but they're not as noticeable, so I'm all right with it. Overall, it just looks smoother and better. Moving on, we have Nino. Now, his look is not too different. Pretty much the only difference I can really spot is that his t-shirt turned into a hoodie, which, I think that does suit him, yeah. And again, the Miraculous in camouflage mode, like, look at that now. You basically cannot tell that it's the turtle Miraculous. In fact, he's wearing multiple bracelets. Which one is it? I think it's that thicker one, but I don't even know for sure. Which one is it? It could be either. I think it's that thicker one though. Probably. I don't know if we've seen it change when he's transformed. I don't know if we got a full transformation sequence for him. Can't remember if we saw a full transformation sequence in a season 6 episode yet. But yeah, the camouflage mode with the bracelet, that's great. As for Carapace, similar to Rena Rouge, he didn't change that much, which I'm happy with. I like that the hero suits are not getting big changes. They're more just a bit smoother and more polished. His goggles or whatever you call them, those got tinted though. They've gone a bit of an orange color, which I don't mind that instead of the old clear. But yeah, overall the design is not that different, so not much to say about it. Next up, we have Sabrina. Now, I talked about her design in my review of the episode Daddy Cop because that's when it was more noticeable, and that is when it actually changed. The thing is, again, people's first look at her new design was in a credits title sequence, which used this picture here, and a lot of people thought, oh no, she looks super weird. And if it were that picture, I'd agree, yeah, it does look kind of weird. But I think it was just a bad picture. And then when people started watching Daddy Cop, people saw the beginning and saw this. And I think some people got hopeful and thought, oh good, maybe they changed their minds and went back to her original design. Because here, it's basically her original, it's just in the new animation style, and she's got the Miraculous in camouflage mode there. But they didn't change their minds, they were just waiting until the end of the episode for a makeover for character development reasons. And then we got this at the ending, which a lot of people still hated it, even though it looks much better than what we saw in that credits picture. The credits one was just a bad picture. This at the ending is, I think it looks alright. A lot of people don't like it though, and I understand why it looks too different to some of you, but it kind of grew on me. I didn't like it at first either, but now I don't mind it. It looks alright. We also have her as Miss Hound, which it's not super duper different. I'm looking at them, looking for differences, and it's more just I don't know, the ears on the hat went from orange to black and things like that, and just little, just the tiny details, you know, but not much to talk about, you know, just there might be the tiniest differences on the suit. Oh yeah, one thing I can see is that it's actually the new one that has eyebrows on the mask, which is a bit weird because this picture of the original doesn't have that. So I guess they screwed up a bit there. But overall, it's not that different and it looks alright. And again, it's in the new animation style, so it looks nice and smooth. Moving on, we have Zoe, who I was a bit hit or miss with her at first. Her actual clothes barely changed. She's still got that jacket, same basic shirt and all that. But number one, she took off her beanie, which I don't mind that actually. Number two, she now has a bit of blue hair as well as the pink. I've seen people compare her to Harley Quinn because of that. And at first I didn't like it because I found it a bit weird to have both accent colors. Like, I liked the original where it was the blonde just with a streak of pink. It's kind of grew on me because I've gotten used to seeing it. But the blue and pink, it's kind of hit or miss. I understand if you don't like it. But the other cool thing is, as I've mentioned with camouflage mode, the Be Miraculous looks so different and I love it. And it's like, we can still tell what it is, but looking at it at the back of her hair and the colors, she was able to customize it to match her colors, and I love that. It's like they're all using their Miraculous as camouflage mode to express themselves and just be another part of their outfit. We also have Vesperia, who she doesn't seem to have changed that much. Actually, looking at them, I feel like the colors, the black and yellow seem to have inverted a bit. Because the old one seems to have more black in the middle and the new one seems to have more yellow in the middle. But overall, it's not too different. It's not too complicated. It's simple enough and I like that. So yeah, that's all I can say about that. Now, we have Kagami, who a lot of people don't like her haircut because it's gotten a bit shorter and, you know, some people don't like it. I can see why. It might be a bit jarring of a change at first. It's a bit different. I was able to get used to it, but I get it if you don't like it. The other thing is her clothes, which initially looked like a private school uniform. Now she's ditched the tie and blazer. She's still got her same basic color scheme. She still, you know, has the same essence, but like the jacket looks cool on her. And again, the Miraculous in camouflage mode, that looks pretty nice. And as Ryuko, it's again, it's not too different, which I like. It's just a bit polished. Well, the design around her chest area, it changed a bit, you know. And there's these shoulder blades thing that looks kind of cool. It works for a nice little gold accent thing. So yeah, overall it's just more polished and I like it. Next is Felix. Now, Felix, putting aside his Argos form, he actually hasn't really been seen in season 6 as Felix. The only time he's seen in season 6 is in Revelator when they're learning to not transform back, and he was Argos the whole time. We didn't see him transform back into Felix, so the only picture I have of his new design, but not really, is in the opening title sequence, which I said not really because it really doesn't look different. Maybe they didn't really bother to redesign him that much. Oh, I see it. He ditched the tie. That's basically the only difference I can spot. It's just in the new animation style, and he ditched the tie. But okay, I guess he didn't really have a reason to get a makeover. It's alright, it's just fine. As for Argos, the design itself is not that much different, but it looks so much more polished, so much smoother and more polished, and that's basically it. He's one of the characters who didn't get much of a makeover, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with some of them not changing, really, because he was perfect as is, okay? He was. Next, we have Marc, who had maybe the best change in season 6. I'll never understand the people who hate on Marc's new design. Like, okay, he looked alright before. He was already alright. But okay, the makeup. Like, it really shows that he's expressing himself more and that he's feeling more comfortable to do that and just be who he is. He already had the colourful shirt, but he mostly covered it with a red hoodie, which might have indicated that, he was not expressing himself as much back then, which fits with his story and all. But now he's got this nice jacket. It's still the same red colour, but I think it suits him a lot more. And as I've mentioned with the camouflage mode Miraculouses, his ring is a lot more hidden. Not as well as other ones, but how well do you hide a thumb ring, But yes, overall, Marc is one of my favourite Season 6 designs. It is honestly just such an improvement. It wasn't broken before, but it looks so much better. We also have him as Rooster Bold, which, okay, what I'm about to say is not a comparison thing, it's just commenting on his design in general, either way. I never liked it. I remember when we first saw it in Panel Team, I thought it was a bit especially the red hair, because I first saw him jump in Panel Team. I saw the red hair and I thought, is that meant to be Nathaniel? But no, because then we saw Caprikid and I was like, no, that's Nathaniel. This is Marc, which, I don't know if the red hair suits him or not. I guess he just wanted a streak of color because, it's not his everyday look. It's him as a superhero, I guess. If that's what he wants, sure. I just wasn't sure if it suited him. And it's not just red, it's also a mohawk, which I never really considered something that would suit his style and personality. But it's alright. But back to comparing, the Season 6 one definitely looks better. It's smoother and more polished and just looks better. And also the suit did change a bit. The original one was just too much orange. And the new one has a lot more black, so it's a lot more simple. And simple doesn't mean bad. Less is more. Don't make it too flashy or overcomplicated. I think it looks better. Next up we have Nathaniel, which, again, this is one that was not broken per se. he looked fine. He was already one of my favorite characters. But his new design, everything is better. The hair just looks a lot more polished. Now, some people have said, well, now he doesn't look as much ginger. It looks bordering on brunette. I don't mind that because maybe his hair was naturally this color and the brighter red that we had before was him dyeing his hair, and now it's faded back to natural. But maybe not. Maybe they probably weren't going for that, and they just thought like this color looks more natural. The old one was super bright, and it's pretty rare for someone to actually be that color orange hair, you know? When someone's ginger, it's more like this. But the other thing is that I feel like his old outfit, it could have been stuff that his parents bought for him, because it's basically a blazer, like a school uniform kind of thing. And having seen the ruler and knowing what his parents are like now, I get it if that's what his parents bought for him. But I feel like this new look just looks, much more him. It's much more expressive. My only nitpick is that, to me, I don't really like the asymmetry of like how it has one strap of the overalls hanging down, but that's just a me thing. That's just me being silly. But I think it looks great. And again, with the camouflage mode Miraculous, the hair clips look great. Like, they look nothing like the swirly goat horns we had before. He managed to make them look like just plain hair clips, which he can just wear and nobody questions anything. As for Caprikid, okay, that is just literally better. Like, come on, like, that is just better. The hair didn't look as good. The fluffy part looks kind of off in the original, and the horns, everything just looks better in the new one. Like, sometimes I struggle with picking out like details or reasons why it looks better to me, but sometimes my brain just says, yeah, that looks better. Okay, it's amazing. But moving on, next we have Ivan. He's another one that didn't change too much. He switched his t-shirt for a hoodie like Nino did. But he's also got a hat now, which, okay, and now his hat has the cross design that his old t-shirt had. Overall, it's not too different, which again is a good thing, and it suits him. I think he looks good with the hat, because otherwise the top of his head kind of looked a bit off. I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of did in the original. Just looked a bit off. And he just looks a lot more polished now. As for Minotaurox, oh boy, the old one. The old one was not that good. The new one is just better. Like, okay, the hood part just looks, it works a lot better, because then the horns are coming from the hood, and instead of this weird cowl that kind of covers part of his head but kind of not, because we can still see the top of his hair and those horns, and just and it also makes sense that he's got a hoodie in the new one, like he has a hoodie in his new outfit. So yeah, maybe that changed to match. Next up we have Mylene. Now this is one that I actually didn't like the new one at first, because I didn't like how much her hair had changed. In her original design, you might say, well, it's too colourful or it doesn't look realistic, and I get that. but originally I liked Mylene's design because it looked kind of colorful like that. But I don't know much about hair of that texture. It looks like she's got I forgot the word for it, sorry. Dreadlocks? Is that the word? I don't know. I could be wrong. But you know what I mean. You can see it in the picture. Yeah, but it was very colorful. And I used to prefer that, but the new one is kind of grown on me. She also added some makeup, which, I guess that's all right. They're growing up, so a lot of the girls have started wearing more makeup. Overall, the hair is not too bad, it was just a change I had to get used to. And the makeup's all right. The clothes, she's switched to overalls instead of the basic cardigan she had before. But my favorite thing is that she already had some badges or pins on her cardigan, but now she's got a few more, including 2 different LGBT support badges, which I'm all for it. I've seen some people try to nitpick, like, but why is she supporting LGBT when she's clearly straight because she's with Ivan? Okay, number one, she might not be straight. She could be bi. Just because the only partner we've seen her with is a boy doesn't mean she's straight. That's bi erasure. But 2, she could be straight and be an ally because a lot of her friends are in the LGBT community. Zoe, Marc, Nathaniel. Marinette is confirmed bi, by the way. But yeah, I love that she's got those badges. And as Polymouse, now this one was a bit hit or miss for me. At first I noticed the mouse ears is the most noticeable thing, where instead of looking like a nice cute onesie with the mouse ears, now there are no ears and her hair has been shaped to form the ears. And I'm a bit 50-50 on which I like more. I liked the cute look of the original, but I don't know, the new one looks kind of cool too. So I'm a bit on the fence on that one. I've seen some people who prefer the new one because of the hair being shaped into ears, and I've seen some people who prefer the old one because it looked like actual mouse ears as part of the costume. Either way, they're both all right, but I have no complaints about the new one. Next we have Rose, which is one that a lot of people were hating on. The outfit itself is fine. The makeup has gotten a bit heavy, which some people don't like. But I think it fits her personality because she likes that sparkly pink kind of thing. What a lot of people are commenting on is the hair. Now, a lot of people throw around the phrase, well, Rose has cancer. Okay, number one, it's not confirmed as cancer, just something that she's had for a long time that flares up sometimes, as we saw in Guilt Trip. But it's not confirmed cancer, it's left up to interpretation, but sure. So some people have said, well, her hair's getting shorter because cancer. I don't think that's how cancer works. I'm pretty sure, it's the chemo that makes you lose hair, but also it's not, when you lose hair, it doesn't make your hair get shorter like that. It just like falls out, I think. So I've seen people compare and be like, yes, that's more evidence for the cancer thing because it's gotten shorter and it used to be longer because in the derision flashback it was even longer. But one, that's not how losing hair works, unless you're saying that she lost it all and then it grew back or it started to grow back. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe she just decided to cut it and went for shorter hair. which I always found that interesting, just from seeing her original design, which is that Rose is the sparkly pink girly girl, but has relatively short hair, which I think is a nice subversion. Overall, I don't mind it too much. It's just jarring because it is different. I don't hate it as much as some people do. But for Pigella, I prefer the original. This is one where I will outright say I don't like the new one. Number one, they took away her cute little pigtails. Why? You can't say it's because she cut her hair, because we know the Miraculous can grow hair, as we see with Alya's haircut. I thought she looked really cute with the pigtails. You could argue, well, her transformation changed to have short hair because she accepted that part of herself. If the short hair is related to her medical condition, then maybe her new look, her new transformation, decided to keep the short hair instead of faking long hair because she's accepted that, and I guess that could work. I just think it doesn't look as good on her. And also, they added pig ears, which look kind of weird. Because one thing I absolutely loved about her original design is she's one of the few that does not have animal ears, and instead they put the pigtails. But now they've given her pig ears, and it's kind of you know? Also, it's got those frilly bits, but it doesn't look as much like a dress as her original, which, yeah, was a dress. And I liked that she was one of the few Miraculous users that wears a dress. But I guess they thought, well, maybe it's not practical. She wants it to look more like smoother, like a superhero suit you'd expect. I don't know. Again, it's all right. I don't outright hate any of these. But if I have to nitpick, I'd say I don't like this one. Next, we have Juleka. Now, this one I really changed my mind on. When I first saw it, I thought, I don't like it. Mainly because of the green lipstick. I thought it didn't work on her. It's kind of grown on me because the rest of it looks pretty good. The way she's changed her hair, it's not hiding her face quite as much. And she's got that shaved bit, which is you know, it suits her. The clothes didn't change too much, but they didn't need to. She looks great. And speaking of the camouflage mode Miraculous is, look at the way she hides that I don't even know what you call it. It like goes over her wrist and fingers. Gauntlet? Yeah, we'll go with that. Look at the way she hides it, you know? It doesn't even look like what it is. It just kind of attaches to her fingerless glove, which I think looks good. As for Purple Tigress, it's one that didn't really change. Again, I think we've only seen it in that scene in Revelator. So they probably didn't feel the need to really change it. It looks basically the same, just in the new animation style. Looking at it now, it's like the only difference I can really see is maybe the spikes on her belt, which, you know, it suits her. It suits the whole look, so it's fine. Next we have Max, who barely changed, I'd say. His glasses are a bit different. He is wearing a different shirt, but he's still got the green color scheme and the suspenders. In fact, it looks like his undershirt might even be like, it's almost the same shirt as his original. It's just he's got another shirt over it. So yeah, not much to comment on there. As for Pegasus, I'm not so sure about this one. His hair looks a bit different. I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, but I'm not sure if I like it. It is interesting that his glasses changed to this kind of visor thing, which I guess that suits him. It does. So I'm alright with this one. The hair just looks a bit kind of different. The way it's more straight up white, compared to how it looks in the original. It's alright though. Next, we have Kim. Kim is another one who switched a t-shirt for a hoodie, but overall, not much changed. He still looks basically the same. His hair still has that kind of color shifting thing going on. It's just more polished in the new animation. We know he did have a hoodie in the original. It was just short sleeves. And it's just a different style of hoodie in the new one. But again, it looks alright. But as for his Miraculous, I can't quite tell what it is supposed to be, Like, it kind of looks like headphones around his neck, but I'm not really sure, I can't really tell, but it's fine. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't mention Max with his Miraculous. I like that. I think he was able to adjust it so that he just wears the Miraculous glasses all the time, and maybe it was able to adjust to his prescription so that he doesn't have to take off his actual glasses to put on the Miraculous. But speaking of Kim, we have King Monkey, who I'm a bit hit or miss on this one. The hair is all right because the original looked really bright red, and I liked the more burnt red brown color of the new one. But what is up with those horns? It's meant to be a monkey. What is that? I don't like it. The next side character is Alix, but I don't have much to say because she didn't change. Similar to Felix, she has not been seen in season 6. More so, she hasn't been seen either as Alix or Bunnyx. So the only picture we get is, I believe, from like title sequences and stuff. And it looks literally the same. It's just updated to the new animation graphics or whatever. And I'm going to say the same about Bunnyx. It, really just looks the same, so I don't have much to say. Next up, we have Luka. And look at that new outfit. I love it. It looks like nice and casual, and maybe it's reflective of like his new lifestyle, because he's been living in Brazil. So yeah, I think it looks a lot better. Again, this doesn't mean that his old look was bad. It wasn't. It it was a perfectly fine jacket, and there's a Jagged Stone t-shirt there, which I'm glad he swapped that out because now he knows Jagged is his father, and he doesn't hate him, but it could feel weird to wear your parents' merch. When Luka was first introduced, we did not know Jagged was his father, and it was just framed as him just being a big fan. But yeah, I like the new look. I like it. Viperion is kind of different, but also kind of the same. Like the suit is pretty similar in terms of like the structure, that yellow diamond bit and all that. But a lot is different. A lot of parts of it look more green than blue than it did in the original. The neckline. The neck is completely closed up, and he has these details on his face, which I kind of like that. I am noticing that similar to Cat Noir's mask, his mask is doing that thing where it tints the whole eye green, which I don't mind it. The new one it looks a lot more polished as well, so I'm going to say it looks kind of better. And one more sort of main character is going to be Natalie. I love her new look. The fact that she literally let her hair down, it really goes well with the plot developments. She's not just a simple secretary design. She let her hair down, and the blending of the red in her hair is really nice too. Like, not just because there's more of the red, because it's not just like a block of a streak. She still has the same core look in terms of like, it still looks a bit businessy. Like, she still feels like she's constantly at work in the Agreste household, even though Gabriel's not here anymore. But overall, it just looks a lot better. And like, she's a lot more comfortable in her look. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, that's most of the characters that people discuss. Because there might be minor characters who changed a bit. Like, I don't know if Marinette's parents or someone else changed a bit, but they're too minor to bother with. There are two minor characters that I will touch on, which we have Aurora, who we saw in Climactic Queen. Her look definitely looks like an improvement. The core look is basically the same, it's just a bit more polished, and the clothes are a bit of a different structure. The other minor character is Undine. I think I'm saying that right. The thing is, before season 6, I believe we had only ever seen her in her swimming outfit. So for all we know, she could have already had this outfit and been wearing it, in casual life. It's just that we didn't see it. And I like this look on her. I like it. Now that we can see her out of the swim outfit, she looks a lot nicer. One thing I will nitpick is that looking at these pictures side by side, it looks like her eyes went from green to blue. But it could just be a trick of the light, or one of those things where a color, some people see it more blue, some people see it green. Like, her season 6 picture is definitely blue, but her original picture taken from the episode Siren, I'm seeing green, but it is close enough that I can understand if someone says, oh, that's blue in that picture too. So I'm not gonna nitpick that. But yeah, overall she looks great. Now I can't compare them to old designs, but there are 3 new characters in season 6 who I'll briefly mention, because although I can't compare them to older versions, I can comment on their designs anyway. First we have Sublime, whose design I probably went over in my review of Sublimation. She had quite a few different outfits just in that one episode alone, especially with her hair, because I know she had it down at one point, in a braid at one point, in a bun at one point. But yeah, I do like that she's getting some variety. And also, I don't know if it counts as part of her design per se, but the fact that she is disabled, she has a limb difference. I'm not sure if it was something she was born with or if she's an amputee, but yeah, I guess it is part of her design that she uses those prostheses. And I commented that on Sublimation, so I'll stop. It looks fine. She looks great. I'm happy with her as a character. The other one to mention is Aglaé, who was introduced in Climactic Queen. I'm not sure how much she'll be around. Her design is interesting. I call it goth with anxiety, you know. I don't know if I'm using the word goth right. It looks kind of gothic, or I don't know. It suits her though. It suits her personality, and I like it. And then the third one, although she's a pretty minor character, is Diane. She looks alright overall, but then when you look at the core elements of her look, I feel like they might be going too much for the luck symbolism, because she has this thing where the main part of her character is meant to be a joke that she just gets lucky with everything. Like, oh, I just spilled the paint on the canvas and it happened to look like jagged stone. Like, what? But then she's got a lot of four-leaf clovers, one on her top, a pattern on her pants, and on her earrings, which means, you know, it doesn't work as well if you go too heavy on the symbolism. So I don't know if I like that. But that's all the characters that I can talk about. So that is going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on these new designs. I know some of them I didn't have much to say about. And I hope this video didn't get too long. I don't know how long it's gotten. I've rambled on quite a bit. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video. I have a few different other topics I'm planning to cover, as well as doing full season reviews for seasons 1 to 5, so that instead of doing reviews for individual episodes. So yeah, that's what to expect in the future, and I'll see you next time for more Miraculous and other things as well. See you next time, guys.